What is up, everybody? It's Jello the Casual Car Gamer. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to this new setup that I'm trying out. There are a ton of news-related card game channels, and since I've never tried it, I figured I would try it out. So here it is. This will serve as a bit of a channel update, as well as some news for some card game related things that I am super excited about. But before we get into the card news, I just want to talk about the channel and where it's moving forward. So as all of you know, Out of the Box has been a pretty big time commitment for me, especially in terms of editing, but don't worry guys, I will still be able to get other types of content out, which is why I'm making this video, to make sure that you guys are in the know of that. Other things that I wanted to just address, like I've said on the podcast, but most people probably haven't watched the podcast, is that I will be doing Zero to Hero very soon. I have done the opening portion. I just need to film the deck profile just to make sure that I have everything, because I misplaced a lot of my cards while I was moving, and that was one of the reasons why I wasn't able to get a timely update on it. I actually filmed the opening probably 3 weeks ago now, and I still haven't been able to do it because of everything else that's going on, like on top of work and all of this stuff. But that will be coming out very soon, so watch out, keep tuned, stay tuned for that. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is the trajectory of the channel moving forward. So if you guys have ever listened to the podcast or listened to any of my other videos, or even watched some of my other videos, you guys know that one of the biggest games in my life has been Cardfight Vanguard, and I played this game from 2012 all the way until at least competitively from 2012 until 2017, and I kind of fell out with it because of all the moving that I've been doing. But with Overdress coming out, the new sort of reboot, the new format that's coming out, I really want to expand the reach of the channel, and that is exactly what I'm going to do. If you guys are with me on that, thank you very much, and if you guys aren't, then thank you for supporting me up until now. I just really want to get this game out because I feel like Vanguard isn't as big as it should be, because it's such a fun game. At least up until I was playing. A lot of my friends back in the Philippines told me that it's really bad right now. But with clan selection coming out and with the new format coming out in May, it has taken a new breath of life, basically. So that's one of the things that I wanted to address. One of the biggest things is that I'll be adding Cardfight Vanguard to the channel as one of the mainstay sort of areas of content, and I'll be going over card releases. I'll be talking about the anime as well. As you can see here, I have a piece of the anime up, and you can probably read that already. I'm actually going to zoom this in a little so it's easier. And yeah, that is it. I will still be doing Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. I will be doing a ton of Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, especially with In the Yu-Gi-Know and Out of the Box. Those things are not going to change, but scheduling will be different now. I mean, not really. Like, the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff will still be the same, at least with Out of the Box and In the Yu-Gi-Know, but scheduling for regular videos like deck profiles that I've finally gotten around to doing, and just openings and stuff, I guess, will have to move around a little bit. We'll see how it works, because I want to find a good balance between the two, and yeah, I'll figure it out along the way, and hopefully you guys stick around with me for the whole thing. But anyway, let's move straight into the Cardfight Vanguard news. So I haven't watched the anime ever since 2018, I want to say, just because of, you know, life and everything, and there are a ton of anime that I've been watching, but I haven't been able to watch Vanguard, and honestly, one of the main reasons why I stopped watching Vanguard was because it made me depressed that there was so much new support coming out for everything and that I couldn't play. But anyway, that's besides the point. So there is a new format, and with it a new anime coming out with it, and to all of our Shinemon lovers and our Kai lovers and our Aichi lovers, personally I really liked Shin, but to all the fans we've had before, we are getting a completely new main roster of characters, and what seems to be the main character is Yu Yu Kondo. So check out the character designs for Yu Yu Kondo, both in the regular version and his cross-dress version. Yes, so we do have a main character who is forced to cross-dress by his, I believe it's his sister, that they say makes him cross-dress. But I think that this is really interesting, and I'm super excited to see where they take the story with this, because this will be fun. And to anyone who knows the whole change with the clans turning into nations and everything, he is using what I believe is now just I think it's still Dragon Empire, but whatever the equivalent, the Overdress equivalent of that is now. And we're just gonna get straight into that. But before, I believe so I put this out. I put this up first. So the new start decks, these aren't going to be trial decks, these are start decks. There's a very big difference between the two. Will be coming out the middle of May, I believe, for the international releases, but we still have the illustrations here. As you can see, we have a sort of 6-card legion here basically, and that's really nice. So this is for the Dragon Empire. This is Yu Yu's deck, Yu Yu Kondo's deck. And then we have I believe this is Dark States now. So they took the Dark Zone, turned it into Dark States, and we have a very Spike Brother looking deck here. Looks really cool. And we have the Keter Sanctuary, or Keter Sanctuary. Keter. I'm just gonna say Keter. We have, of course, our knights looking really flashy and nice here. I have a problem with this. I believe his name is Rooks. I have a problem with Rook's design here, and I'll get into that later on, because the ability has been revealed already. And yeah, that's it. So these, I believe, are all coming out on the same day. This is 1, 2, and 3. I think this is at least in the Japanese version, these are all coming out. The first 3 are coming out 1 week before the next 2, but I think for the English release, we're getting them all at the same time. This is all pretty public knowledge now. I'm just getting everybody who isn't privy to this information, well, privy to it. So I hope you guys are okay bearing with my rambling. But anyway, this will be really fun, because I'm really interested to see where they go with the whole clan amalgamation, because even though there were so many different clans in a single nation, they all played differently. So it'll be interesting to see what they do here. It'll be sort of akin to a bit of like extreme format, kind of, because you won't be able to mix everything together, but you'd have different skill sets being able to merge together. So I enjoy I feel like I'll enjoy the freedom of deck pieces, but at the same time, I suck at building decks, so we'll have to see where that goes. Anyway, the next thing we have here are Start Deck 4 and Start Deck 5. So this is I forgot what it's called. It's a hard name for me to remember, but this is what the zoo turned into, and then this is Brantgate, from Stargate to Brantgate. So let's see. So we had Great Nature and Mega Colony, and I forgot who joined them from Magalenica. I think it might have been, I can't remember. But anyway, right now it looks like the main aesthetic of the start deck for this nation in particular will be based off of Great Nature, and it looks really good. I love the majesty of this floofy boy right here, and we'll get into that. I believe its name is Magnolia. So there we go. And then of course we have the Brent Gate. I'm guessing this will be. Some people were saying it was Link Joker because of the locks, but it does look a lot more like Dimension Police, of course, because they're police in space. And yeah, this will be really fun. So we have 2 triggers here. Then we have what I believe will be the starting Vanguard, and then 1, 2, and 3. I'm guessing these will be the Overdress chain for this start deck in particular. All of the ones that have been released so far have the Overdress chain in this deck. So this is an Overdress chain, this is an Overdress chain, and we'll get into what Overdress is later for all of my Yugi boys and girls who aren't aware or who don't know. Anyway, so moving into cards that have already been revealed to us, at least in the Japanese, and then we just get the translations off of Cardfight Vanguard English. So I'm guessing this is the starting Vanguard. I don't know, I could be wrong because it doesn't have the Forerunner effect. The Forerunner effect lets the starting Vanguard poof away after a ride is done. I think I talked about this already. If I haven't, then stay tuned for how to play what will become Vimium. But yeah, how to play standard Vanguard. So this is Trickstar, and its ability is continuous. Rearguard circle cannot be chosen by your opponent's card effects. So cannot be targeted. Awesome. We're getting it in Vanguard. Well, it's been in Vanguard for a while, but yeah. Anyway, this is really cute. It's like a Chrono Dran. Many people have said, but a lot cuter. So yeah, grade 0, 5k power, 5k shield. People are worried about the shield values and the trigger values going, or at least staying at 10,000. So we'll have to see what happens there. Oh, that's wrong. I'll move that to the end. Okay, so next we have Virina, so Overdress Trickstar. So you may place this by stacking it on a specified unit instead of calling it to a rearguard circle. So this would go on top of Trickstar on a rearguard circle, which is why I'm thinking that it might not be the starting Vanguard for the deck, but we'll have to see. Oh yeah, I'm so dumb. The starting Vanguard is this egg thing. I just realized. Okay. Scratch everything that I said like 45 seconds ago. Anyway, so its other ability is, let's see, auto rearguard circle. When this card is in Overdress state, attacks a Vanguard, this unit gains 10,000 power until the end of the battle. Then cost Soul Blast 2, choose one of your opponent's rearguards and retire it. So that's the Kagero flashing around. Of course, it is the Dragon Empire, so it's expected that it'll have some capacity of retiring. And yeah, it looks really, really good. Can't wait to get this. And I believe in the special set that's coming out soon after the Start Decks releases, the Start Decks release, it'll be getting reprinted as a triple R. So I'm super excited to see that. The list has been revealed already, but it was in Japanese, so I wasn't able to understand anything. But anyway, okay, so the Next unit that we have that has been revealed for the Yu Kondo deck is Blaze Maiden Ryu. So she is the grade 2 that is beside Chakrabarthi Divine Dragon Nirvana. And her abilities are, when this is rode upon by a Chakrabarthi Divine Dragon Nirvana, Soul Blast 1, search your deck for up to 1 Virina, reveal it, and put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. And then during the battle that it is attacked, it gains this unit gains 2,000. So this card was revealed 2 days ago in English first before it was revealed in Japanese, which is odd to say the least, but that's really cool. I love the artwork, and yeah, it makes me even more sort of excited for this. So one thing that I said earlier that I'm going to take back now is that these cards don't have overdress per se. For example here, Ryu doesn't have this in particular, but it has something akin to it. So when it is rode upon by this beautiful dragon right here in particular, her effect activates. So it's kind of like a ride chain, but not really. But yeah, it lets you search for Virina, and Virina does good things. So, and of course this is a start deck, so I'm not going to expect anything too crazy out of these things. But yeah, can't wait. Next card we have is the actual boss monster of this start deck, and it is Chakrabarthi Divine Dragon Nirvana. So its ability is act. Vanguard circle once per turn. Cost: discard a card from your hand. Choose a grade 0 from your drop zone and call it to rearguard circle. So for my Yugi boys and girls, the drop zone is the graveyard of Vanguard, if that wasn't already obvious. Just making sure. And so this lets you call it. So trade 1 from your hand to call from the drop zone. Not bad. I sort of expect, and of course, yeah, so it has another ability here. So it is grade 3 twin drive. So for those of you that don't know what that is, I will get into that as soon as I can. And then it has the persona this persona symbol here, and we'll get into what that is later. So its other ability is when this unit attacks, cost is 1 counterblast, and this unit and all of your units with overdress ability gain 10,000 until the end of your turn. So it's a field buff. If you have a bunch of Virinas and Trickstars on your field, then you're good to go, basically. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's I feel like, I don't know, it's like I said before, it's not, drop dead amazing, but it's just for a $4 start deck. You can't really expect much, but yeah, this is really nice. Looking forward to using this purely for the artwork, because this thing is gorgeous. And this is I believe that's all that's been revealed for start deck 1, so I believe we're going to move into the next one, which is start deck 2. And they have a new skill, which I'll read first before we go into the actual cards themselves. So these cards in particular have the Final Rush. So this lets you accumulate strength for 1 turn and gain Final Rush at the start of your ride phase. So basically, it's like a delayed. Yeah, it is a delayed. I want to say it's like a break ride, except you don't have to ride over it. You just have to keep it on the field for 1 turn. It feels slow. It feels like it makes the deck slow, but if there's a way to turbo it out, then you're good to go, basically. And yeah, so we'll see what Final Rush does. I already know what it does, but for the sake of the video, Next, so we have Diabolos, Bad Steve. Man, you had me at Diabolos, and then Bad, and then you just lost me here. And no offense to anybody named Steve. I have quite a few friends who are named Steve, and I love them very much. So its abilities are: when this unit is placed on the Vanguard circle, choose a card from your soul call it to your back row, center, rear guard circle, and soul charge 1. So I'm not going to go too much into detail with this, but the Vanguard field has 3 columns, and the Vanguard circle is in the... So if there are 2 rows, there are 2 rows, there are 3 columns. And the middle one, so if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, number 2 is your Vanguard circle. So basically, when this is placed on the Vanguard circle, you can choose the grade 0, your starting Vanguard of this deck, and then move it to the circle under it, and then soul charge 1. Soul charge 1 is when you take the top card of your deck and put it under your Vanguard. Any cards under your Vanguard are considered the soul. And its second ability is continuous rearguard circle. If you are in final rush, this unit gets plus 5,000 power. So that is Steve. Pretty flashy looking football player we got here. I still can't get used to all this change here. So the nation flags used to be here, and then the name would just stretch out there. But I'll get used to it in time, I guess. Next, we have Diabolos Anger Richard, or as I've seen some people, Diabolos Anger Dick. It's an angry phallus. His abilities are: when this unit is placed on Vanguard circle, cost, put a rear guard into your soul. So take 1 card that's on your field, put it under your Vanguard, and draw a card. So it depends. This thing could be really good depending on what the rest of the deck does. But like I said, all of this should have an asterisk on it and say asterisk start deck card. So I'm not expecting too much. So if you are in final rush, this unit gets plus 5,000. So you can see that all of these football players, or what they used to be called Spike Brothers, have final rush, at least these 2, because they are linked right next to Diabolos Violence Bruce. So Bruce is our big baddie boy right here. I'm guessing he's the captain of the team. And his ability is auto. At the start of your ride phase, you final rush. So there we go. So for timing purposes, you wouldn't be able to activate this the turn that you ride it, because at the beginning of the ride phase, he's not on your your Vanguard circle. So you'd have to have him on the field for more than 1 turn, which is okay, I guess. The only issue I find with it is it's kind of counterintuitive with his Persona ride, because the Persona requires you to ride another copy of the same unit on top of it. So it feels weird. I guess depending on what your field would look like, if you just had a bunch of Steves and Dicks on the field, then you'd be fine. Because the Persona ride ability is basically the same. It gives you the same amount of power. And then its second ability is: when this unit attacks, if you are in final rush, cost Soul Blast 5, stand all of your front row rear guards. So like I said, there are 6 circles. Circles 1, 2, and 3 are your front row. So when he would if he were to attack, if he is in final rush, which means it's the second turn he's been on your rear guard, your Vanguard circle for the fight or more, you can take 5 cards out of your soul, dump them to the drop zone, and stand your 2 front row rear guards. Now, depending on how much triggers matter nowadays, this could be really good, or it could literally do nothing for you. And it also depends on how your opponent reacts to this. If they take everything, then that's great. If they don't, then it depends. But like I said, asterisk start deck card. But gets points for looking snazzy. Next, where'd the art go? Oh, there we go. Okay, so next we're moving into our Keter Sanctuary cards. So these were revealed, I believe, just today. So this is Heavenly Knight Sword Fort. So auto ability: when this unit is rode upon by Knight of Heavenly Spear Rooks, cost reveal up to 2 grade 3 cards from your hand. Yeah, reveal 2 grade 3 cards from your hand. Reveal the top card of your deck and call it to the rearguard circle. If the card is a unit, put it. Oh, if the card is a unit, and put it into the drop zone. If it isn't, so there are 2 types of cards in the deck that you play. There are regular units and there are order cards. Now, I'm not 100% in the know of whether or not they're going to carry order cards are going to carry over. I believe that they are, but that is what this talks about here. So if you reveal the top card and it is a unit, so a unit is one of these cards that have the black border down here. If you guys haven't watched my video on what the difference between the cards are, go and check that out. You can call it to your rear guard, and if it isn't, then it goes to your drop zone. So it's a bit of a 50-50. I don't like that you have to reveal that you can't guard. But I mean, it doesn't take your soul. It doesn't take a counterblast. A counterblast is something that I'll explain in depth later, but it is your damage, your usable damage, basically. And it feels, if it's okay, but it requires your hand to be somewhat bad, because this would have to be turn 2, and I don't know about you guys, but I don't want 2 grade 3s in my hand, that early in the game. So that's okay. The second ability is once per turn on the rearguard circle, counterblast 1. Choose one of your grade 3 vanguards and it gets plus 5,000 until end of turn. So this just buffs it a little bit. It's so and so. I like Steve better, just because it just gives himself power, and he gives you resources. He gives you soul so that you can use Bruce faster. Fort doesn't really do it for me, but anyway, moving on, we have Knight of Heavenly Spear Rooks. I am not digging the sunglasses here. If you take those off of him, he looks great. With these sunglasses, he looks like a bit of a douche. But anyway, his first ability is when this card is rode upon by Apex Ruler Bastion, cost reveal 3 grade 3s from your hand and draw a card. So this, again, I'm not really loving the cost of this ability, because in Vanguard you can't guard with grade 3s unless you have some unit that lets you guard with them, because they don't have any shield value, so what's the point? But by turn 3, if you have 3 grade 3 cards in your hand, this is literally the best thing that can happen to you. But like, you have 3 grade 3s in your hand, what are you gonna do? I don't know, maybe things have changed, maybe I'm just a pleb, but yeah. His other ability is continuous rearguard circle. During your turn, if you have 3 or more grade 3 units, this unit gets boost and plus 5,000 power. So one thing that I haven't mentioned yet is that all the grades have different abilities depending on their grade. So grade 0s, I think it's this one. Yeah, so grade 0s and grade 1s have this icon here, and this symbolizes boost, which means that they can be in the back row and contribute their power to whatever unit is in front of them. So if there's circle 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6, grade 0s and grade 1s are the only things that should be in the back row unless specified, like with Rooks. So Rooks is good because he makes having your hand clogged up with grade 3s sort of usable, because grade 2s are not allowed to boost, they are allowed to intercept, which means if they are on the field, they can sort of throw themselves into, you can throw them into the guardian circle to contribute their shield power to defend from attacks. And I'll get into that more in my next How to Vanguard video coming from Yu-Gi-Oh! But that's sort of the gist of it. But his ability lets him boost, which means you can put him in the back row and he's not useless. And he gets plus 5,000 power, so he'd be boosting a whopping 15,000. So that's the that's his redeeming trait off of this. I don't really like this. Anyway, moving on to Apex Ruler Bastion. So this is our card, our cover card for Start Deck 3, and its ability is continuous on the Vanguard Circle. During your turn, all of your grade 3 units get plus 2,000 power. So, I don't know. It would have been, I would have liked it if this was, while this is on your Vanguard Circle, all of your grade 3 units get plus 2,000 power. So even if it's your opponent's turn, you get a little bit of protection, a little bit of defense. But, you know, I don't really see the use of bumping your units by 2,000 unless, again, there are other support cards in the deck that do really well and are grade 3s. But again, I don't see anything. So I'm guessing the second ability is a lot better. It also has the Persona Ride, and grade 3s have an ability called Twin Drive. So when rear guards attack, you just calculate, you activate abilities, and then you calculate the power, and then depending on whether or not the attack was guarded, that's the entire battle. But with Vanguards attacking, grade 0s, 1s, and 2s, pray to God you don't stay stuck at 0. I actually, it's impossible to stay stuck at 0 now, but they all have one drive check, which means you flip the top card of your deck to see if you pull a trigger. And the triggers are these lovely cards right here. If you guys have already watched my types of cards in Vanguard, then you'll already know what these do. So that's the boost that grade 3s get. They lose the ability to shield, but they have one extra drive check. So when you hit grade 3, you can do twice, unless the abilities of the card let you do it more than twice, which there are actually a pretty good abundance of. And its second ability is Auto Vanguard. Once per turn, at the end of the battle phase, your drive check revealed a grade 3. Discard a card from your hand, choose one of your rear guards, stand it, and it gets plus 10,000 power until end of turn. So it's okay. I like it. It's nice that you get to stand something that's a minimum that will be a minimum 25,000. But considering that the deck requires you to have a bunch of grade 3s in your hand to make Rooks and Fort viable at all, that I don't really see the chances of that being high unless you were to run, a normally large amount of grade 3s. But still cool. It's still cool. It makes your grade 3s triggers, so it's kind of like 0. Card Fight 0. You can check that out if you haven't already. It is Vanguard's version of Duel Links. And yeah, that is it. And moving into the new Zoo deck, these cards are the cutest things I've ever seen. So we have Sylvan-Horned Beast Charis. So when this card is rode upon by Sylvan-Horned Beast Latisse, you can reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a grade 2 or less unit card, call it to the rear guard. If it isn't, put it into your soul. So this is the same sort of deal as with Fort, where if it is a unit, but you have the restriction on whether, it has to be grade 2 or less, so it can't be a grade 3 or above. Yes, there are grade 3s, 4s. You can call it. If not, it goes into your soul. So that's okay too. Like, it's a plus regardless. But I have to see whether or not the rest of the cards require large amounts of Soul Blast. And the last time I checked, Great Nature doesn't really require a huge amount, but we'll see. We'll see as it goes on. So, continuous from the back row rear guard circle. During the battle that this unit attacked, this unit gets plus 5,000 power. So, like I said, there are certain abilities that let units do things outside of the norm. So earlier I said there are 6 Vanguard circles, so 1, 2, 3 for the front row, 4, 5, 6 for the back. 1, 2, and 3 are the only ones that can attack anything. 4, 5, and 6 are purely for boosting the unit that's in front of them. But this unit can attack from the back row, so that's nice. And it gets plus 5,000 when it does. Next, we have Sylvan Horn Beast Latisse. I love how it goes from this dopey looking, super dopey looking guy, cute thing to this thing that looks like a mix of, I want to say like a wolf and a ram. But when it is rode upon by Sylvan Horn Beast King Magnolia, cost Soul Blast 1, reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a unit, call it to the rear guard. If it isn't, put it into your hand. So this one's a little bit better than Charis. So this one, you have no restriction on the grade that you can call to a rear guard circle, and if it's an order that you pull out, then it goes into your hand. So you still get utility out of it. You would still get utility out of a soul, but at the same time, it's, you know, I prefer to have something in my hand, especially if it's something usable. So, at least at the time. And its other ability is auto from the back row rear guard. When this unit attacks a vanguard, Soul Blast 1, and this unit gets plus 10,000 power until the end of the turn. So this thing becomes a 20k slapstick. It just rams its head into you, so that's great. And as you can probably tell, the grade 3 of this deck lets you attack from the back row. So this is Sylvan Horned Beast King Magnolia, big floofy boy. Auto Vanguard. At the end of the battle that this unit attacked, cost Counterblast 1, choose one of your rear guards, and until end of turn, that unit can attack from the back row, and it gets plus 5,000. If you Persona Road during this turn, choose 3 rear guards instead of 1. So this is probably the most impressive grade 3 that I've seen so far, because you can just stack your back row with Latisse or Charis's, and you can just swing. But like I said, it really depends on how useful triggers are, because they all give 10,000 still. So we'll have to see where that goes, because even if you do get to, you know, sort of field buff and get 3 more attacks, basically, you're first off making your front row really small, and second, leaving yourself really wide open for becoming useless after like 1 or 2 triggers. So we'll have to see what happens there. But considering that you have to Persona Ride to hit the 3 instead of 1, your front rows should be fine. And I think that's everything that's been released so far. There should be more coming out today, because it's 24th. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, and yeah, I'll get onto that as soon as possible too. So here is, let me just get to the over triggers first. So the over triggers are a new mechanic in Overdress. Overdress, yes. So normally triggers only give 10,000, but over triggers give 100 million power and an additional effect. So this one in particular, Spirit King of Determination Olbaria, so gives 100 million to whatever unit you choose, and then its additional effect is choose another unit and give it 100 million. So you're getting 200 million. Now, you can only have one of these in your deck, and it's super clutch near end game if your opponent doesn't have a perfect guard, which just nullifies anything. And if it's checked early game, then it's kind of like meh, you know, because if I had no damage and you hit me with this to go to 1, like I was going to take the damage anyway, so it's okay. But this will cause a lot of highlight replays for sure. Highlight reel replays. Highlight reels. I don't know why I said replay, but anyway, that's cool. So the thing about over triggers though is once they are revealed, they are removed from the rest of the game. It's not like banishing in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or even binding in Vanguard. You literally cannot use this card for the rest of the game until one of either you or your opponent wins. So this one is in start deck 1. So I'm guessing all the start decks are going to get this over trigger in particular. So that'll be fun. And so some questions. So what does it mean by remove the card in the over trigger? So this is what I mentioned already. Question: if I gain 100 melee power due to over trigger, can Sentinels guard against it? Yes, they can. So like I said, perfect guards, or Sentinels as they're also called, will stop the attack regardless. And if it's in the Guardian circle, does it get removed? No, it doesn't. It only gets removed when it is used for revealed for a trigger check. So there are potential avenues to get it back into your deck, but it really depends on what cards are revealed moving forward, because right now there are no ways to sort of refresh your to recycle your drop zone back into your deck. And next question: when revealed for damage check, if I have less damage than my opponent, will the over trigger be removed from the fight? Yes, it will. It will be removed from the fight regardless of the player's current damage, as long as you trigger check it. So there are a couple of ways that you can get cards. You can search, you can draw them, and you can trigger check them. So trigger checking is when you attack with your Vanguard, or when your Vanguard is hit by an attack. And next, when receiving 2 damage, the first trigger reveals an over trigger. Is the remaining 1 damage nullified as well? No, it isn't. So these are just very basic questions on how triggers work. So the way the triggers work is when you check them for damage, you gain the effects of whatever that trigger is, because there are different types of triggers in the game. And yeah, the over trigger is the over trigger is, you know, just a regular trigger. At the end of the day, it's still a trigger card. So let's see, when revealed, if I have less than, removed from the fight. So basically you don't take a damage if you get hit and then you damage check the over trigger, which is cool, I guess. That'll cause a lot of table flipping heals for sure. Next, and the last piece of info that I have for today's video, or at least this evening's video, is the new grade 3 Persona Ride ability. So if your Vanguard has the Persona Ride icon, when rode upon by the same unit, you get to draw a card, and during your turn all of your front row units get plus 10,000 power. So it looks really tiny after looking at the over trigger, but let me just clarify that the over trigger is 1 out of 50 cards in the deck, and you get 4 of these, at least to start off with. You get 4 Persona Ride units to play around with. Now for sure, I have no doubts that more will come out, because of course, you know, if the start deck's going to give you one, then the upcoming set that comes out like a week after this will give you one as well. So it'll be really fun to see how this works. This is what they're trading for the imaginary gift system that came out in the V series of Vanguard. But yeah, that is it, I believe, for everything. I hope you guys enjoyed this type of video. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing these. I want to keep doing these because I just like talking, and I don't get to talk about Vanguard on the podcast because of course it is in the Yugi Know. So I'd like to have another outlet, and even if it's just by myself, maybe just for now. Yeah, I just want to find an avenue to, you know, be able to talk about another card game that I really enjoy. And yeah, if you guys want me to start doing more Vanguard content, I have started playing Vanguard 0 again, and yeah, I'm open to all that kind of stuff. Let me know down in the comments if you enjoyed this video. If you didn't, I'm so sorry. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave your comments and suggestions for future and current content down below. And that is it. I am Jello the Casual Card Gamer. My camera died again, and yeah, that is it. Catch you guys next time.